you'll find most people selling these business plans are selling you the snake oil. These are Twitter gurus that are just looking to get their hands in your pocket. I want to get in your mind. All right, everybody, welcome back to the new YouTube channel for FTN. That's right, you formulate the numbers, forget the nonsense, and fade the noise when you get with us. That's me, your host, the big guy with the big mouth from the Big Apple, baby, big Johnny Stud, coming to you worldwide out of Brooklyn, New York, every day. You know, I love it. Get at me any day of the week, any time of that day on a Twitter machine at MLB Moving Averages. Let's get on to it. Like I said, welcome back to Betting the Basics. Hope you had a happy and healthy Thanksgiving, but it's back to business for us. Everybody got another question that I really wanted to address. It's something that I hear about all the time. Again, you know, you guys come here to sharpen those tools, get that mind right, and create a path to sustained profitability. Today's question is about, again, as always, really managing risk, but today it's in relation to having volume of plays, which I think is really important and something that I don't think a lot of people focus on just enough. So again, first things first, determine your risk for a single day, but just how? Of course, you know, if you're listening to the previous episodes, remember, get on there, subscribe, rate, review, come back and check those things because we're building off here. This is really like a tutorial kind of educational process. Again, sharpening those tools. We are going to make it and turn you into a professional just like me. So first thing, man, when you're determining risk, you're going to have to determine how aggressive you want to be. Now, of course, it's easy to say, I want to make the most money possible. I want to make $1 million right now. The other side of that is being willing to lose that $1 million. So again, always make sure we're fine-tuning our risk. How do we do that? Number one, kind of determine your bankroll. Something we talked about in another episode. I don't know if I took a cheap way out saying, how do you fund your account with the most amount of money possible? But it really is the truth. Depends how much noise you want to make in this business. You know, are you trying to take your family on a vacation once every 6 months? Are you trying to pay your mortgage with this stuff? And depending on that answer is really going to determine how you bankroll these things. This is something I'll probably visit again in another short tutorial, really focusing and nailing down the actual specifics of this, man. I was trying to get out specificity, and there it goes. So, people that know me and follow me know it's a very stringent risk management process I'm always after. Of course, it gets reflected through your written plan. Now, personally, I never like to risk more than 1% on a single event, more than 2.5% on a given day. That, in itself, becomes the benchmark, the foundational base of your plan. How risky you're going to be, like I said, aggressive nature. Is it turned up all the way to 10? Are you more down near 1? You're somewhere in the middle, kind of like me, because I really think you have to balance that aggressive nature with being conservative when, you know, scared money don't make money. So you got to have a little bit of gusto if you want to go get it. Now, that doesn't mean we're ever risking 5%, but also means you need to get up near that 1% a stack, maybe 2% a stack. I normally set that as a maximum. So where this kind of comes to life, you know, where this really shows itself in our everyday process when we're trying to bet is when we have a volume of plays. And I think this is specifically important. It's the reason for the video today, because I think it's volume that gets people in trouble, even if they were disciplined to begin with. And again, something, the spinning plates I'm always talking about, leave that bowl, something that people always talk about, units spinning. I particularly don't subscribe to the theory of units because I don't think it's used properly. I'm going to try and star this. I'm going to try and make that the very next episode because, again, it's a pitfall that people make. Well, I'll give you an example. They bet a unit every game. Okay, well, if Monday has 2 bets you like, that's 3 units. What if Tuesday has 8 bets that you like? That's 8 units. If those represent percentage of stack, 3% was already pushing it. 8% is way over the line, and it's going to lead you to ruin. You absolutely cannot bet 8% of your stack. I actually have a chart I'm going to bring up by the end of this that we'll go over. I'm going to try and kind of put it out there and let you kind of see it, you know, it really makes a difference, especially over the long term. Those percentage points, those bips as we call them, they really do add up. So discard the notion of units for right now. We're going to come back to it. Let's focus on percentages, because percentages translate across any bankroll, right? 1% for the smallest better is the same as 1% for the biggest better. So always think of percentages as that common thread that we can all relate to and compare our success. Again, totals are misleading. This guy made 10 grand. This guy made 1 grand. But if 1 grand was 100% a stack and a 10 grand was 2% a stack, it's pretty easy for you to determine who was more successful. Again, don't get caught up in those totals. So again, let's get back to that specific example. Rather than betting 3 units day 1 and 8 units day 2, which again is unacceptable, we're going to work it backwards. So if you determine your total risk for daily allotment at 2%, then you could just divide 2% across your 3 bets on Monday, and then divide your 2% across your 8 bets on Tuesday. And like, simple as can be, one of my mentors always said, Johnny, man, kiss. Just kiss, baby, kiss. And you kind of give him the weird look. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. The more you learn, the more you should realize that you don't know. Simplify it. It will help you keep an objective process. And I think really, as simple as that just sounded right there, it's going to change the way that you play, and it's going to change that path to sustained profitability. I know I'm always beating the very same drum, hitting that same point over and over, but it's so important that even for pros, you want to keep it on the very front of your mind. So that's our quick lesson for today. Rather than get hung up on setting a bet amount to a play, work from a daily and work backwards, and that'll keep that risk management in check. All right, that's pretty much it for today. Not all lessons have to go on for hours and hours. Let me bring up these charts I was talking about. And, they have to do with rate of ruin, losing streaks, loss of capital. Keep all those terms in mind. Go research them on your own. I'm not going to be able to go over every single thing, for every single circumstance. So the chart I'm looking at right now, again, is losing streaks and loss of capital. Let's go over the difference between risking 1%, risking 3%, risking 5% real quick, just to kind of set it in your mind. So, if you risk 1% of your bet and you have 3 losses in a row, you're down 3%. If you have 3 losses in a row at 3% risk, you're at 8.7. Remember, it's not 9. This has to do with adjusting every time. And if you're betting 5% of your stack at 3%, you're down over 14% after only 3 days, let's say. Man, that can be not only financially crippling, that could be emotionally crippling. So think about that. 5%. That means if you have a $100 bankroll, you're only betting $5. You have a $1,000 bankroll, you're only betting $50. $10,000 bankroll, which a lot of people would consider to be a lot of money, you're still only betting $500. Most people with a $10,000 bankroll are betting way more than that, and it works its way down the line. Let's move up again. You're having a tough week, and you get to 5 losers in a row. That 3% risk is now at 14%. The 5% risk is now at 22%. Let's say you get to the unthinkable, 10 losers in a row. And you know what? Unfortunately, these things happen. No matter how hard you work, how smart you are, or what control of the material that you have, these things happen. Before we get out of here, I want to leave you with this, man. 1% risk, 10 losers in a row. 9.6% loss. Think about that. If you had $100, you're still over 90. You can still feel good about your progress. Again, go back to the very first lesson. The best bet sometimes is no bet at all. Saving your money is more important than taking a stab and taking a chance at losing. Because when you lose, you got to work harder to get it back, right? If you lose 10% off 100, you're down to 90. You need more than 11% to gain it back. Now, that 10 loses in a row at 5%, you're down 40% of your total stack, which is absurd. And a little bit of quick math, if you're down 40% of your stack, you need to gain back 66.7% just to get back to even. So the further you fall down that lost rabbit hole, the more and more you're going to have to climb, which of course is going to lead itself to being more aggressive. We don't want our aggressive nature to be too dynamic. Keep it static. That's going to keep you in the game, and it's going to keep you building towards a better future for you and your family. So listen, in just a few minutes, I hope you really learn something that you're going to be able to apply. Use your calculator. Have a plan. Be stringent, be strict, and allow the chips to fall as they may. That's about it. You'll find most people selling these business plans are selling you the snake oil. These are Twitter gurus that are just looking to get their hands in your pocket. I want to get in your mind. Boom. So from the bottom of my big, warm, and fuzzy heart, you know this kind of lesson comes from the heart because I really care. You know, it means a lot to me when people subscribe. Speaking of which, hop on www.ftnbets.com. We always have all types of sales going on. MLBMA is the promo code for me. MLB moving averages. And that gets you access to what we're doing here. Around the clock, if you're a sub, I push you to the front of the line. I'm going to answer all your questions beyond the sports statistics because that's what matters to me. I can't guarantee you every pick is going to hit, but I can guarantee you if you subscribe, I'm going to make you a smarter and better player. You have my absolute word. So remember, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you picked up what I'm putting down. So from Big Johnny Stud in Brooklyn, New York, everybody, man, stay in the game, keep your mind right, and peace.